This lesson is a kindergarten math lesson focused on the vocabulary of shapes, 2D and 3D. And it's basically getting kids to use the vocabulary to describe the similarities and the differences in the shapes. So, the lesson will start out with kids looking for shapes around the room that will be brought from home and shapes from the classroom. And then they'll work with a small group or a partner to discuss the different shapes that they found, either 2 or 3 different ones, and use vocabulary to discuss the similarities and differences between the shapes that they found. Then we will go into a whole group, and the small groups will get to stand up and share the shapes and one thing that they talked about in their small group and share that with the class. So we'll go around to each small group and they'll get to share, and then we will discuss the activity that they will be doing independently. So I will show the students how to do it by giving an example. What you will need will be 2 different pieces of construction paper, 2 different colors. And then you'll need to gather all the shapes up and have them all out on either the table or the carpet. I would do this probably at the carpet with the class in a circle. So I would have 2 different pieces of construction paper in different colors, and then I would decide to organize the shapes into 2 different categories. So I'd put maybe all the shapes with curved edges onto one color and all the shapes with straight edges onto the other. So I will show how to do this. So since I do not have the construction paper or the shapes with me, I will pretend and draw on this whiteboard. So I would have one color of paper and another color of paper. So let's say I decided to do curved on this one and straight edges on this one. I would not tell the students what I'm doing. I would just quietly tell them to observe me and watch closely at the shapes that I'm putting onto each of the papers. So let's say I grab a paper circle. I put it on this one. I grab a sphere and put it on this paper. I grab a cylinder and then maybe I grab a cube. Paper square, a rectangle, maybe a pyramid. So obviously these drawings are not the best, but it kind of shows you how you can just put your shapes into the different pieces of paper and then watch and have the students observe, and make sure you just focus on having them watch closely and using the value of time to show them and try to help them figure out what I'm doing. And then we would discuss as a class, and I would ask them, what do you think my rule is? Why did I put these shapes in here, and why did I put these shapes on here? What is my rule? Then maybe I would tell the students to turn and talk to a partner and kind of share what they're thinking. Give them a chance to talk with their partner first, and then I would ask for some ideas individually. We would share ideas, and then we would finally get to the conclusion of my rule, curved and straight. And then I would have the students try it again. But this time, I would ask for a volunteer. Maybe someone who I might think is going to be really confident at this and would be a good example to show for the rest of the class. So I would let that student be another example, and they would go through and make their own rule, and that would be another example for the students. And then, after they kind of get the hang of it and see how this is working, the students would be able to do this with a partner or with small groups and work on doing their own rules and separating the shapes by a certain rule using vocabulary. So this vocabulary would be the attributes of the shapes, the vertices, the edges, everything, the faces. So they would be working on using that specific vocabulary to do this activity. Thank you.